And on Wednesday, the 7th of December, well, we have our full moon. We have our full moon in Gemini, so we're going to use this full moon to celebrate the harvest, right? We're going to look and see at what we've manifested. So come Wednesday, we celebrate. Yay! This happened and that happened, and this could be adjusted, etc. And then we'll have a 2-week waning cycle after that full moon, which is all about releasing resistance and removing blocks to your new moon goals. It's a good idea to let go and let God under this waning phase. It's really all about releasing resistance. So what we resist persists, right? So you want to release resistance in the sense of you don't want to be so focused. I really want X. Like, relax, okay? Allow it to happen. Allow it to flow into your existence. So keep that in mind. We should okay. You have your birthday on the 12th. Happy birthday on the 12th. That'll be great. And we should celebrate. Sonia and I should celebrate the entire Aquarius season. Yeah, we do. Definitely. Good morning, Marlo. Nice to see you. So yeah, we have our full moon, which we'll talk about. And on Wednesday as well. Hey, Benjamin Elliott. Happy Monday to you. On Wednesday as well, it's Mercury's day. The planet of communication rules the day on Wednesday, so expect lots of communications. Pad your schedule with some extra wiggle room. You never know what might come up out of the blue on Mercury's day. And of course, we will have our Gemini moon on Wednesday. Gemini moon is good for multitasking, communications, running errands, short trips, socializing, writing, editing. Some of the best editors I know are Geminis, and that's saying a lot because I'm a really good editor, a damn good editor. But Gemini is pretty good because they're like computers, right? They're very, when you're editing, it helps to be like Gemini moon, good for multitasking, like to act like a robot. That's really key. But Geminis are really good editors. And numerologically, Wednesday is a 7. So 7 pertains to introspection and inner wisdom. It's all about looking beneath the surface, and it makes for an analytical and very spiritual and intuitive day, with it being the 7th of December. And for aspects on Wednesday, well, the Sun in Sagittarius will oppose Mars retrograde in Gemini. So it's a competitive aspect, actually. We just need to channel it productively. And it will be wise to think before we speak. That needs to be our mantra for really the next, 2 weeks. So I would say 17 days, including, the few days around the full moon. Just because, well, Gemini, every gift is a curse, right? So Gemini, they're ruled by Mercury. So they see it, they get it. They don't have to analyze. They see it, they judge, they get it. The problem is that Gemini's brain is in their mouth, or their mouth is in their brain, meaning they say things really, really quickly. And that makes them brilliant, really swift communicators. Look at Jordan Peterson, right? Gemini. Very, very, very fast, very, very quick. But with Mars retrograde in Gemini and all these squares going on, we will be well served if we think before we speak. Because lest we forget, we cannot unring a bell. And no matter how much Gemini you have in your chart, with these aspects going on, it's going to be very difficult to backpedal. So definitely think before you speak. I would during this week, especially. And Judy Garland actually had the Sun opposing her Mars in her chart. And that would make somewhat a lot of sense. I haven't looked at her whole chart, but maybe watch The Wizard of Oz. I don't think it's a Christmas movie. The Sound of Music is considered to be a Christmas movie. I'm not exactly sure why, but maybe The Wizard of Oz is too. Is there any holiday that's associated with The Wizard of Oz? I don't know. Oh, Raquel, no. Your mouth writes checks it can't cash. Well, that's terrible. Well, hopefully this Gemini full moon, you won't do that, because the check could be quite costly. You don't want to do that. Oh, she's a Gemini. What's her name? Wizard of Oz. Okay, she's a Gemini. Okay, and according to Raquel, and I believe you, Oz always came on Easter. Fascinating. I hadn't a clue. Well, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. Because after our Gemini moon, we'll have Cancer, the Cancerian moon. So we'll talk about that. But let's talk about this full moon in Gemini. Don't mind the houses. Unless you're in the West Coast or in California, Los Angeles, then the houses will be correct for you and where you're living, but don't mind the houses. As we see, the sun is at 16 degrees Sag over here, right? With that green arrow, if you can see my cursor, and it's, of course, the moon. That's what a full moon is, when the sun opposes the moon, and the moon, look, it's exactly conjunct Mars retrograde. Fun times, folks, fun times. Meanwhile, we also have, because Mercury just entered Capricorn, it's at 1 degree, and we also have Jupiter at Pisces at the last degree at 29. Mercury is at 1 degree, so that's making a square. Jupiter is going to be squaring Mercury. So again, don't write checks your mouth can't cash. And meanwhile, because Venus is at 26 degrees Sagittarius, that'll also be making a square to Jupiter in Pisces. Big deal that is, a lot of these squares. But again, you got, benefits involved. You got Jupiter involved. You got Venus involved. So could be a lot worse. But again, we have to watch out for overindulgences, speaking too much. And remember, if we notice over here, which we'll talk about, you got Uranus still conjuncting the North Node. The North Node is our collective destiny. And Uranus is about change, and Taurus is about values. So again, we just got to keep in mind that an object in motion likes to stay in motion. So we could be pursuing old hopes, old dreams, old values that make no sense anymore. So check in with yourself, determine what really, really matters to you now, and move ahead. Okay. The Wiz takes place at Christmas. Yes, that's true. And Judy Garland was a Gemini. Okay, makes sense. Liza, I know, is a Pisces. Her daughter, Liza. So anyway, we have an interesting full moon in Gemini. Let's break it down and give you the Reader's Digest version of what's going on with this full moon in Gemini on Wednesday, which is going to be in effect, or we're going to feel its energies for the next 2 weeks, right? The waning moon cycle. So keep these notions in mind for the next 2 weeks. The full moon, as we said, will be conjuncting Mars retrograde. Mars retrograde, the big thing is, he who initiates loses. So it's good to respond to things, but don't start trouble, don't start a fight, or you're going to be screwed. Like in countries that have started wars before under Mars retrograde, the country who fires the first shot tends to lose. So let's use that metaphor for ourselves, right? Like, don't start any shit, any fires, or else we may lose, right? Because Mars is not at its fullest capacity. With the moon conjuncting Mars retrograde, a hair-trigger temper is possible. Temper. So be sure to find a healthy outlet, a passionate outlet for this steamy aspect. So remember, the moon is the most sensitive, vulnerable area of the chart, and Mars is really the most aggressive. So it's going to be helpful to channel your aggressive energy or any impatience, etc., into a productive area, right? So you could decide to white tornado your house. You could decide to wrap your presents. You could decide to learn piano. You could decide to do whatever it is that you want, but you're going to have that Mars energy really close to the moon, like exactly on it, right? Almost within seconds. So find a healthy outlet for your passion. Otherwise, you may be starting trouble. Just to let you know that. Additionally, we may have voracious appetites because Venus will square Jupiter. So Venus will square Jupiter. This is going to bring us a release of energy, and it's going to bring us luck. And we're going to be probably in a really good mood. You get the two benefits, right? Venus is a very beneficial planet. The lesser benefit is Venus, and Jupiter is the great one, right? So these two together are good. If you're going to have a square, you may as well have them between Venus and Jupiter, the two planets that give us lots of blessings. But again, we need to know when to get off the bus. Know when to say when. And when it's time to change, it's time to rearrange. Just like they taught us in the Brady Bunch in that episode where Peter's voice was changing. Uranus is conjunct the North Node, which is our collective destiny. So collectively, we're urged to align our lives with our values, which may have changed when we were busy following protocol. So keep that in mind. How will this aspect affect Kanye? He's a Gemini. I don't know what degree Gemini he is. I imagine the eclipses that we had in Scorpio and Taurus a few months ago. I imagine that hit his chart because he's been on the crazy train, right? I mean, more than usual. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Maybe I'll take a look if we want to give Kanye any energy. I mean, we'll see. So Mars retrograde? No. Mars is going to be, let me see when Mars is going direct. Not soon enough, if you ask me. Not soon enough, if you ask me. Okay, so Mars will go direct January 12th. All right. Yeah, Mars will go direct the 12th of January. So keep that in mind. Good question about Kanye. Yeah. Huh. Well, maybe I'll have a look. I imagine that the eclipses did something to him. Something did. In any case, enjoy your full moon in Gemini. And here's some good vibes. I think so. Well, why not? Why don't we send everybody good vibes? Anybody good vibes, whatever. I mean, I had a problem with him since he pulled that Taylor Swift thing. Like, I wrote him off after he went on stage and applauded Beyonce when Taylor Swift got the award. Like, that was it for me. That was just like, nope.